We're going to do instructions here on how to write the perfect presentation contribution of learning paragraph. We'll call it the Christopher Columbus paragraph. Think of a collaboration of learning paragraph as like your contribution to a potluck supper. This is what you're bringing to the table, or the classroom as it were. Start with your name, course number, and include the last 3 digits for the section number and the assignment number. In this case, these components are up in the header. Gives you more space for writing. All papers should be 1 paragraph only, written in Times or Times New Roman font, 10 to 12 point type. Spacing must always be 1 1/2 lines, and your margins either 0.75 or 1 inch. Adjust depending on how much writing you like to do. Give it a creative, engaging title. In this case, it says Celebrate Christopher Columbus. Insert a relevant, appropriate graphic. Modest size, not too big, not too small, just right. Whenever possible, open with a provocative question. In this case, why do we celebrate Columbus Day? If you'll notice here, the term Leif Erikson is in bold. I look for at least 3 bold terms coming directly out of the reading material. Always cite your source, in this case the Discovering History, and then always cite the author in proper APA format. In this particular case, that would be parentheses, author's name, comma, date, close parentheses. So here again, 2 more bold terms that came directly from the reading material. And in writing, please demonstrate clear engagement with the material, particularly in your reading assignments. And you're encouraged whenever possible to make the material as relevant or as applicable to you and your life and field of study as possible. In this case, the reader has done enough research to realize that there's a lot of myths around Columbus and that he was apparently quite the scallywag and was ultimately dismissed as governor off the island of Hispaniola for being such a brute. And then ironically, it was the subsequently impeached President Nixon who declared Columbus Day a holiday in 1971. This is important, and every paper with a question that invites conversation, further discussion, and complex thinking. For example, so why, in light of the aforementioned facts about Columbus, do we continue to perpetuate the myth of Columbus as a hero deserving of a national holiday? So that's your basic paragraph. This is extremely important. Plan ahead and arrange to have your work proofed by an expert well in advance of the deadline. Take it to the writing lab, a proof service center, or buy that English student a latte. It's only a paragraph. It has to come in perfect. But you're not done yet. Each project will require 1 additional contribution of learning. In this particular example, you could choose a research paper. This one's from the Journal of Genetic Psychology, questioning, did Columbus hypothesize or predict that if he sailed west, he would arrive at the Indies? It will be assumed that you will read the research article that you bring to the class and be prepared to discuss it in your small group. Another suggestion for a contribution of learning would be a class exercise, something kinesthetic. You can always pair up with another student and design something that has students going around the room, for example, writing on the board. A third alternative for an additional contribution of learning will be to recommend a book, some very relevant reading that you've become familiar with if you have, and once again can discuss with the group, and of course cite appropriately. Relevant journal articles and even current publications, magazines, etc. are also appropriate. Make sure you include a direct link to the material. The most popular additional contribution of learning would be a video, something about 5 minutes, more or less, coming from a reputable, reliable source. In this case, this is by the History Channel, titled The History of Columbus Day. Always make sure that the link is hot so we can pull it right up easily off of your paper on the screen. And no, you can't use that option every single time. You must rotate around the 3 or 4 options available. This is extremely important. It must be in the assignment repository by the deadline. Thank you.